The signal from beyond. The signal arrived on a Tuesday. Dr. Elena Reyes had been monitoring the deep space array when the computer alerted her to an anomaly. At first, she thought it was a glitch. The quantum receivers often picked up strange echoes from neutron stars or black hole emissions. But this was different. The pattern repeated with mathematical precision, a series of pulses that couldn't possibly be natural. "Director Kaido," she called, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "I think you should see this." Director Shin Kaido abandoned his coffee and crossed the monitoring room of Lunar Outpost Artemis in 3 long strides. His eyes widened as he stared at the screen. "Is that what I think it is?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Elena nodded. "It's artificial, definitely not human. And it has all the hallmarks of a distress signal, repeating pattern, increasing intensity, prime number sequences." Kaido's fingers moved quickly over the console, pulling up additional data. Source? HD 4307G, about 42 light-years away. Elena pulled up the star chart. "It's one of the potentially habitable exoplanets we've been monitoring, but we've never detected technology there before. And now we're picking up what appears to be an alien SOS." Kaido straightened, his face grave. "Alert the UN Security Council. This changes everything." Within hours, the news had spread throughout the United Earth nations. Humanity had long speculated about extraterrestrial intelligence, but evidence had remained frustratingly elusive. Now, not only had they confirmed the existence of an alien civilization, but its first communication was a cry for help. The UN Security Council convened an emergency session in Geneva. Representatives from every nation gathered to debate humanity's response. "We should observe only," argued the Chinese delegate. "This could be a trap. Or it could be genuine," countered the Nigerian representative. "If they have the technology to send signals across space, they might have much to teach us." Admiral Helena Voss of the UN fleet stood at the podium, her decorated uniform a testament to decades of service. "The signal has been analyzed by our best cryptographers and xenolinguists. While we can't translate the content, the mathematical structure is unmistakable. It's an emergency broadcast." "And what would you have us do, Admiral?" asked the Secretary General. "What we would hope any advanced civilization would do if they received our distress call," Voss replied simply. "We respond." The debate raged for days. Some feared making contact with an unknown alien species. Others argued that humanity had a moral obligation to help. In the end, it wasn't political maneuvering or scientific curiosity that won the day, but a simple human principle. When someone calls for help, you answer. The UN Security Council voted 15-3 to launch a rescue mission. At the Luna Fleet Yards, Admiral Voss oversaw the assembly of the rescue fleet. 7 of Earth's most advanced starships gathered in orbit, the pinnacle of human engineering and determination. The flagship, UEN Horizon, was the largest vessel ever constructed by human hands. A kilometer-long behemoth powered by fusion reactors, and equipped with the experimental Einstein-Rosen drive that allowed faster-than-light travel by manipulating space-time itself. On its bridge, Captain Layla Mbeki reviewed the mission parameters one last time. At 42, she was considered young for such a command, but her tactical brilliance and cool head had earned her the position. "Chief Engineer, status report," she called across the bridge. Marcus Chen looked up from his station. "Einstein-Rosen drive is online and stable, Captain. We can sustain fold space for 36 hours before we need to recharge the exotic matter buffers." "That should be enough to reach HD 4307, Layla nodded. "Security status?" Commander Dmitry Volkov, head of security, stood at attention. "All defensive systems are operational. Marines are on standby, though I hope we won't need them." "As do I, Commander," Layla agreed. "But we're venturing into the unknown. We prepare for peace, but we must be ready for anything." The final addition. To the crew arrived by shuttle, Dr. Yuri Petrov, Earth's leading xenobiologist and linguist. As he stepped onto the bridge, Layla noticed the excitement in his eyes. "Dr. Petrov, welcome aboard. I understand you've made progress with the signal." The scientist nodded eagerly. Captain, it's fascinating. The mathematical principles are universal, but there's something else embedded in the signal: visual data. We've managed to extract fragmentary images. He passed her a tablet. On it was a blurry image that appeared to show a massive structure, perhaps a space station or habitat, with visible damage to one section. Their habitat is failing, Petrov explained. And look here. He pointed to tiny figures visible in one section. These appear to be the aliens themselves, bipedal but with unusual proportions. Layla studied the image carefully. Any clues about their technology level? Far advanced beyond ours in some areas, Petrov admitted. That structure is enormous, at least 30 kilometers in diameter. But the fact that they're broadcasting a distress signal suggests they can't solve whatever crisis they're facing alone. Or they've sent the signal to many stars hoping someone would answer, Layla suggested, and we're the ones who heard them. Petrov nodded. A fascinating coincidence. Admiral Voss's voice came over the comm system. Captain Mbeki, the fleet is assembled and ready. You have your orders. Layla straightened in her chair. Understood. Admiral, we'll make humanity proud. I have no doubt, Voss replied. You're carrying not just our technology but our values into deep space. Remember why we're going, not to conquer, not to exploit, but to help. Yes, ma'am. As the communication ended, Layla turned to her bridge crew. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to make history. Navigator, plot course for HD 4307G. Prepare the Einstein-Rosen drive. The fleet moved into position, the 7 ships forming a precise formation that would allow them to create a single, stable wormhole large enough for all vessels to traverse. All ships report ready, Captain, announced Lieutenant Park at communications. Layla took a deep breath. Engage Einstein-Rosen drive. Space itself seemed to bend before them, the stars stretching into lines as a swirling blue vortex formed. The fleet accelerated, and in a flash of brilliant light they were gone, humanity's first deliberate voyage to another star. What they couldn't know was that their arrival would shock the galactic community to its core. For in the vast tapestry of spacefaring civilizations, humans were unique, evolved on a planet that other species classified as a death world, with crushing gravity, toxic oxygen levels, and extreme temperature variations. The distress signal had never been intended for human ears. It was an internal communication between members of the Galactic Concord, an alliance of species that had been secretly observing Earth for centuries. The signal had been sent by a damaged research vessel studying human development, a vessel that had suffered catastrophic system failure and been forced to broadcast on all frequencies. And now, the Deathworlders were coming to help. In the council chambers of the Galactic Concord, alarm spread rapidly. Grand Arbiter Zakatal, a towering insectoid being, addressed the assembled representatives. The quarantine has failed, he announced, gravely. The humans have detected the signal and are responding. Their fleet will arrive within days. Impossible, protested Councillor Alara of the Melnori. They can't have developed faster than light travel already. Our observations were incomplete, admitted Science Director Venn. They've created a crude but effective method of manipulating space-time. We've detected their departure from their home system. Then we must prepare, declared Arbiter Zaktal. The Deathworlders are coming, and they believe they're answering a call for help. As the Concord scrambled to prepare for humanity's unexpected arrival, the UEN fleet continued its journey through folded space, unaware that they were about to upend the galactic order simply by being who they were. Humans, evolved on a world that would kill most other sentient species within minutes, coming to offer assistance to those who feared them most. The journey to HD 4307G took just over 4 days in folded space. For Captain Layla Mbeki and her crew, it was a time of preparation and anticipation. Dr. Petrov continued his analysis of the distress signal, while the engineers fine-tuned the fleet systems for the unknown conditions they might face. We exit. Fold space in 30 seconds, announced Navigator Chen. Layla nodded. All hands to stations. Shields up, but weapons passive. Remember, we're here to help. The swirling blue of folded space gave way to normal space-time, and the fleet emerged near the outer edge of the HD 4307 system. Immediately, the sensors began gathering data. "Captain," called Lieutenant Park, "we're detecting multiple artificial structures in the system, most concentrated around the sixth planet." On the main view screen, a massive ringed gas giant appeared, surrounded by dozens of space stations and artificial habitats. It was a technological marvel far beyond what humanity had achieved. "And the source of the distress signal?" Layla asked. "Coming from the largest station," Park confirmed. "It's, Captain, we're being scanned. Multiple directed energy beams, non-hostile but intense." Layla straightened in her chair. "Open a channel on all frequencies. Let's introduce ourselves." The Defenders of Worlds. The reaction to the human fleet's arrival was immediate and dramatic. A dozen smaller vessels emerged from the large station, taking defensive positions but not activating weapons. "They're cautious," observed Commander Volkov, "but not immediately hostile." "Captain," Park called out, "we're receiving a transmission, audio and visual." Layla nodded. "On screen." The view screen flickered, and an alien face appeared. It was roughly humanoid, but with striking differences. Iridescent blue skin, 4 large eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, and what appeared to be gill-like structures on its neck. "Unknown vessels?" The alien spoke in accented but perfect English, shocking the bridge crew. "You have entered Galactic Conquered territory. Identify yourselves and state your purpose." Layla recovered quickly. "I am Captain Layla Mbeki of the United Earth Nations vessel Horizon. We received your distress signal and have come to render assistance." All 4 of the aliens' eyes blinked in rapid succession. "You received our signal?" "Yes," Layla confirmed. "We detected it 4 Earth months ago. It appeared to be a standard distress call, so we assembled a rescue fleet." The alien turned away, conferring with someone off-screen in a series of clicks and whistles that the translation software couldn't process. When it turned back, its expression was unreadable to human eyes. "Captain Mbeki, I am Council Representative Tilvak of the Galactic Concord. Your arrival is unexpected. We must request that you maintain your current position while we consult with the Grand Council." "Of course," Layla agreed. "But may I ask about the nature of the emergency? We've brought medical supplies, engineering teams, and other resources." Tilvak seemed to hesitate. "The situation is complex. We will communicate further shortly." The transmission ended abruptly. Dr. Petrov approached the captain's chair. "They know English. They've been studying us." "So it seems," Layla nodded. "And they weren't expecting us to show up." Hours passed with no further communication. The crew grew restless, but Layla maintained discipline. Finally, the comm system activated again. "Captain Mbeki," Tilvak's voice sounded strained. "The Grand Council requests your presence aboard Concord Station. You may bring 3 representatives from your vessel." "Understood," Layla replied. "We accept your invitation." The shuttle journey to the massive station was tense. Layla had selected Dr. Petrov, Commander Volkov, and Chief Engineer Chen to accompany her. As they approached, the sheer scale of the alien structure became apparent. It was larger than any city on Earth, a sprawling metropolis suspended in space. They docked at what appeared to be a diplomatic reception area. As the airlock cycled, Dr. Petrov checked his instruments. "Atmosphere is breathable for us," he confirmed. "Slightly lower oxygen than Earth normal, but well within tolerances." "For us, maybe," Layla noted. "Let's see what it's like for them." As the doors opened, they were greeted by a delegation of aliens. Not just the blue-skinned species they had communicated with, but 5 distinctly different types of beings. All wore what appeared to be environmental suits of varying designs. "Welcome to Concord Station," said Tilvak, stepping forward. "Please follow me, the council awaits." They were led through vast corridors that seemed designed for beings of many different sizes and body types. Other aliens stopped to stare at the humans, some backing away nervously. "They seem afraid of us," Volkov murmured. "Yes," Tilvak replied, overhearing. You must understand humans are unique in our experience. They were brought to a grand chamber where a semicircle of alien representatives sat on elevated platforms. At the center was a massive being with scaled skin that shimmered with iridescent colors. "I am Grand Arbiter Zakatal," the being announced. "You stand before the Council of the Galactic Concord, an alliance of 27 sentient species spanning this sector of the galaxy." Layla stepped forward. "I am Captain Layla Mbeki of Earth. We came in response to a distress signal." "Yes," Zakatal's voice rumbled. "That signal was not meant for you. It was an internal communication from a research vessel that suffered a critical system failure while observing your planet." Shock rippled through the human delegation. "You've been watching us?" Layla asked. "For centuries," admitted a smaller alien with 6 limbs. "Earth was designated a quarantine world due to its extreme conditions and the unique development of its dominant species. What the science director means," Zikatal explained, "is that your world is classified as a death world, a planet with environmental conditions lethal to most sentient life forms in the galaxy. And we are Deathworlders," Layla concluded, understanding dawning. "Indeed, the gravity of your planet is crushing to most species. Your atmosphere contains oxygen levels that would be toxic to many. Your biology is incredibly resilient, your immune system's aggressive, your physical strength remarkable by galactic standards." Dr. Petrov stepped forward. "You feared us." "With reason," said another counselor. "Your species evolved as pursuit predators. You can withstand physical trauma that would kill most sentient beings. You can survive temperature extremes, radiation, exposure, and atmospheric conditions that would be immediately fatal to many council species. And yet," Layla noted, "when you accidentally revealed yourselves to us, our response was to mount a rescue mission." The council chamber fell silent. "Yes," Zakatal finally acknowledged. "This was unexpected. Our studies of human history revealed a species prone to conflict, territorialism, and aggression. We anticipated that first contact might trigger a militaristic response." "We can be all those things," Layla admitted. "But we're also explorers, diplomats, and helpers. When we heard what we thought was a cry for help, we couldn't ignore it." "This is the paradox of humanity," said Tilvak. "The very adaptations that make you dangerous, your resilience, your strength, your determination, also create a species capable of extraordinary compassion and self-sacrifice." "So there is no emergency?" asked Commander Volkov. "No one needs our help." The counselors exchanged glances. "Actually," said Ziktal, "there is. The research vessel that sent the distress signal is stranded in a decaying orbit around your gas giant Jupiter. Its crew of 12 is still aboard, and our rescue ships cannot reach them in time due to an unexpected solar flare from your star that has created a radiation storm in your outer system. Conditions that would be lethal to you," Layla realized. "But not to humans," Zikatal confirmed. "Your ships are shielded against such radiation, and your bodies can withstand exposure levels that would kill our rescue teams." Layla didn't hesitate. "We'll save them. Just give us their coordinates." The council seemed stunned by the immediate offer. "You would risk yourselves for beings you've never met?" asked one counselor. "Beings who have been secretly studying your species. That's what humans do." Chief Engineer Chen spoke up for the first time. "When someone needs help, we help. It's that simple." As they left the council chamber with the coordinates of the stranded research vessel, Dr. Petrov turned to Layla. "Captain, do you realize what just happened? We've been invited into a galactic community that contains dozens of advanced civilizations. The scientific and cultural exchange possibilities are extraordinary. All because we answered a call for help that wasn't meant for us," Layla smiled. "Sometimes the best introductions are the ones you don't plan." 3 days later, the UN Horizon returned to Concord Station with the rescued alien researchers safely aboard. The rescue had been challenging. Jupiter's radiation belts were in full storm mode, and transferring the alien scientists had required ingenuity and courage from the human crew. As the aliens were reunited with their kind, Grandy, Arbiter Zekatal addressed Captain Mbeki and her crew. The Galactic Concord owes you a debt, Captain. You have shown us that perhaps our fears were misplaced. While humans may be Deathworlders by our standards, you have demonstrated qualities that our alliance greatly values: courage, resourcefulness, and compassion. We're just glad we could help, Layla replied. And now that we know we're not alone in the universe, we hope this can be the beginning of a new relationship. Indeed, Zekatal agreed. The Council has voted to end Earth's quarantine. Status: we propose a formal diplomatic exchange with ambassadors from both sides. As the human fleet prepared to return to Earth with the momentous news of first contact, Layla stood at the viewport of her quarters, looking out at the alien station that had become the site of humanity's introduction to the wider galaxy. Deathworlders, she murmured to herself with a slight smile. I suppose that's not the worst reputation to have. What neither she nor the Galactic Concord could fully appreciate in that moment was how humanity's unique evolution would transform galactic civilization in the centuries to come. For the Deathworlders brought with them not just physical resilience, but a perspective shaped by their harsh homeworld, a determination to overcome obstacles, a drive to explore, and a willingness to help even at great personal risk. Qualities that would, in time, make humans not the most feared species in the galaxy, but perhaps the most respected. The end.